All right, we're back with another C1x Updates. We got a lot to do. So, if you watched the last video, at the end of that I talked about maybe putting in another new graphic or two, just because I had a couple ideas for them. And clearly I did that. So I did a decent bit of work off camera. In the last video we were finishing up this view, which I do think looks pretty good. Where am I at right now, actually? More wheel changes? Yeah. All right, so first on the to-do list today is going to be our deep round grade, which is this. It is its own graphic. Going to be eating during the video too, so sorry about that. But yeah, I guess quickly to summarize here. So this is going to be our deep round grade. The intention of this is, oh, not that one, is to function kind of like this does, to provide a single round grade based on the entirety of the round. And this is going to be just a moving wave. Doesn't, like, the left side is not the start of the round, back is the end. It's just one value calculated for the entire round, and that value is going to correlate to what this wave ends up being. Let's drag this over here, clean this up a little bit. So we will be using Claude for this sum. All right, but to start with, we're gonna go through the list of changes that I have to make for this deep round grade. Obviously, the graphic doesn't, for the most part, exist right now. We just have the wave. We're gonna go do that. I have a list of extra changes, and then I had some notes on these guys. I did already use Claude and create the general structure of what I wanted, so both of these are already close-ish to what they're going to be. Kind of. Let me, 6 is just as long. And I guess it is there, so what we're saying, 4 and 5 are shorter here, which 2 shots to 3, that makes sense. That makes sense, okay. Anywho, so we're gonna go through the deep round grade, hopefully get this stat updated, go through a list of random extra changes, and then hopefully get to these. This is the day before I'm traveling back home for the holidays. My hope is to be done with this today and have it ready, for the most part, to send out to people for testing. The update is not going to go live anytime super soon, but I could see maybe, second or third week of January this is actually pushed out to all users. I haven't really mentioned it before. I guess maybe I did early on in the C1x like road to launch series or something, when I hadn't even launched the app yet. But this feature is also going to be free for all users to use. Everyone will have this available. You enable it and all the information will be there. I assume that once I get this out to testing and use it for my own rounds a couple of times, that I'm going to notice a whole bunch of stuff, and we'll have a new list of all kinds of fixes to go through before it's ever actually ready to publish. I can already think of a few right now, but yeah, I'm trying to go the direction of C1x of just making a tool that's really cool that everyone can use, and not trying to really monetize it at this point. I would consider ways of doing that in the future, just because it would be great to, actually build something that can sustain itself a little bit, and not just that remains a time suck for me without getting paid for it. But the intent is for this to all be free. The deep stats logging to be free, so any user could pull this information from their rounds. So yeah. Anywho, let's jump into the deep brown grade here. I will say my notes, I took some notes on these, but it was mostly just what I wanted the general graphic to look like. So I'm kind of done with my notes on those, and we're just going to be shooting from the hip without the planning beforehand, which will go fine. All right, deep grade changes. So let's close this guy out. Let's go open up that graphic, deep brown grade. All right, and so we're just gonna ask Claude some general questions on these. Okay, below, oh, that's not good. We're good now. Intended to produce a waveform graphic, and I am making it calculate a. There is no calculation in this right now. Or no. We already calculated the deep brown grade. I'm losing it. We did do that calculation. Based on a value produced via the C1x deep round grade function, which is always on a scale of 0 to 10.0. Low scores, let's start here. This grade conveys how consistently good or inconsistently bad a round was for the user. High scores are good, low scores are bad. My goal is to have this waveform graphic depict, convey the consistency of the user during their round. My thought is that a nice smooth wave moving a bit slower, lower amplitudes and frequency would represent a good score, and a high amplitude, high frequency, slightly higher amplitude, high frequency, fast moving, jagged wave would represent bad scores. We could assume that the highest amplitude and frequency, though not full height. Let's say that here. Frequency and speed would be a value of 0.0. Lowest amplitude and frequency, smoothest wave of 10, with all values in between being shown on a spectrum spanning those two waves. Can you update this file to ensure that that is what is being shown? I'm gonna say I'm curious to see if it changes at all. Yeah, I like that. Okay. All right, now we're gonna go to a new chat again. Give it the whole file. I prefer if it actually showed this as a file. Can I get a new chat? New chat, please. Okay, sure. The widget is producing a wave function based on a double value calculated by C1x deep round grade, which is always on a scale of 1 to 10. I need you to make a very specific set of changes, set off changes to this. Oh, I wish it was a full file. So this below, please produce it as a full file. Right side of the screen and not as a part of this chat. We'll see if it can actually respond to that. All right. Produce a function which generates a string label after receiving the C1x grade as an argument. High scores are good, low scores are bad. Labels produced by this function should include crisp. These are subject to change, but just the initial ideas I had. Crisp, consistent, average, mediocre, sprinkler. This newly created label above the wave and center it horizontally within the view. Wrap the label and wave in a container. Give a bit of padding on either horizontal side of the container. And give it a rounded black border. Create a function to generate a color on a gradient. We'll just say from orange to purple based on the C1x deep round grade. Update the color of the wave using this newly created function. Make the lines of the wave a little bit thicker. Add a, or do I want to show it below? Let's say below the wave. Add a title above the container that says deep grade. Center it within the view horizontally. Give the container a slightly darker background, maybe a black. So we're going to want opacity or something similar to help the color of the waves show through. All right, let's try that. Let's see what we get. And I'm getting the file off to the right, which is great. I do love this about Claude. It just automatically kind of does this, keeps it separate. All right, let's copy it and then see where we're at. Let's just do a full refresh here. Are we good here? Yeah. A little slow, but we're good. Come on, come on. Okay, yeah. I do know the changes that I want to make, and I don't think I need Claude for the rest of them. So let's just go through here. We're displaying a label to display above the wave. And I assume we have crisp, consistent, average, medium. Okay. We're displaying a label. Wrap label. We wrapped it in a container. We gave it some padding. I did want it to be a little bit thinner than this guy. Maybe I go like 30 here. Squeeze it all in a little bit. Oh, that did not do what I thought it was going to do. Is this going to do what I think it's going to do? Yes, that did. Okay. Black border, create function, adjacent column, wave, add deep grade title. Haven't updated fonts yet, but we'll get to that. Okay. So, first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to go to the, we'll just go to our last one, the composite. And for right now, just to maybe make this move a little faster, let's close out Claude. All right. On our composite view here, where do I show the title? Way up. Constant padding. 40 Lolita. All right. Deep brown grade. So we're going to replace this. 15 is what we did. We'll do the same thing. 30. And we're going to call it, was it just deep grade, I think? I think so. All right, let's update that. So now I should have a nice title down here. There we go. Realizing that I'm not actually ever setting the color for these. If I set the color, do they all get a little bit more Do they all look a little bit nicer? Something is going really slow right now. It's taking up so much here. Color is undefined. What's going on? I quit Safari, so that should get better, right? Somehow I got rid of 700 megs of memory, but it didn't go down at all. I don't know. Are we working now? Did this ever actually update? It was not black. Okay, so we're gonna go and add a color line to all of these graphics. All right, composite wheel, deep hole breakdown. Column round timeline. So slow right now. This is crazy. Flight path. I don't even have the overflow on this one. Shouldn't need it, but this breakdown graphic way up here. Color. Momentum wave, we'll get to that, but release angle and shot type we do need. Release angles, this one also does not have the max lines and overflow, so just in case. And then shot type, all right. Same thing. And max lines. All right, so little detour there, but yeah, all the labels weren't actually black. And I'm now realizing that the same is said for all of the other fonts. They're not black. Dang it. All right. Come on, notebook. I use a Remarkable notebook, which I absolutely love, but they pushed some updates out recently that are just terrible. Okay. That's on the to-do list. We'll come back to it later. Now, deep grade, we got here, container, column, repaint boundary, sized box, and then text again. We're gonna throw this here. I wanna throw the numerical grade above it. Okay, grade label. We're not gonna throw round grade here. Here we're just gonna do get rid of it. Let's go 30. family Lolita. That was context suggestion. No. We're just gonna make this one black. Sure. And just for fun, we'll throw the max lines and overflow here. Let's update that. So give me a number above it. Yeah. Okay. Container. Circular is not bad. Let's go 4. Okay. Maybe I want even more here. Okay. I don't hate the color of this. I could also just make it a black background, just to try and make this pop a little bit more. I'm not sure yet. Everything else is just so colorful that just having the one line here seems a little silly. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Font family, Lolita, overflow, text overflow, ellipsis, max lines 1. We'll keep the color the same. All right, well, I am officially through my list. So now how do we make this better? Because I kind of want this to stand outside of everything else. Probably end up moving it towards the top of the view. I could wrap the wave in its own container. All right, let's do this again. Cloud AI. Oh. Widget. All right, I want the wave wrapped in its own widget, or own container. Wave visual in its own container within the larger container, and give it a black background and colors vivid purple border. So I'm going to give this black background with the border. Make the background of the larger container completely transparent. Produce a function which gives a disc golf division grade, MPO, MA1, MA2, MA3, MA4, based on the round grade produced. Show that grade within its own container, colored based on the division shown in a row next to where I show the numerical value of the round grade. That'll be a start. Okay, let's do that. Nice. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna do division grades just like I do on the normal round grade. Here. Maybe I want to show it the exact same way. It probably should be. We'll start with this. Reloading. Error. No, acting colors doesn't. Yep. That makes sense. Haven't actually imported it yet. I'm not going to get a suggestion here. There we go. Is it mid? Yeah. Okay. Let's go to where I produce the normal round grade. C1x round grading. App management. Of course, deep stack keeping. Got to be under all stats somewhere. Individual stat graphics. Here we go. Division badge. Gauge with needle painter and division badge. Division badge should be what I need here. Can I just call the same thing here actually? Probably can. So let's not even container, get division color, text division. So if I just replace this entire row with a, just for the sake of not ruining it just yet, well, actually I can't just ruin it because it's in clock right now. So we'll do this, and then we're gonna go division badge. It's probably not gonna work because of that underscore, right? Do need to get rid of that. Division badge. All right, and then division badge. Division badge. And then grade is going to be round grade. Division will be division. And we add a comma. And let's do a reset. Make sure that I don't get any errors, that the normal gauge still works. It should. Just changing a function name, but still looks good. And then use the same thing down here, which, why not? Why not? and then it does produce the color for me already. I don't mind keeping the colors the same. That works. We get an MPO here and an MA2 for consistency. That's kind of funny. Okay. How do I like this? It seems to me like the average here should be a bit bigger and just black. So I think we're going to do that. Colors black and 40, and we'll throw const. It is close, but it's still just not quite what I need it to be. Let's go with the new chat. I have the below widget displaying a deep round grade in my app. I need to update this appearance a bit, as I want this to be a center point of the view and draw attention of users. Current view kind of looks like a screen or monitor with labels above and below a viewport that shows the wave function. I want to lean into this a bit. My app already has a retro sort of feel, and I'm thinking about here in the sense of kind of a old school radio look. I don't want to, I'll say I don't know if we need to add any more functionality to the view, but it would be nice to add some background color to the larger container and maybe some arbitrary knobs or dials, buttons in the corners to make it look somewhat like a 3D object. Can you use? Did I did paste the view. Okay. Let's see what it puts together here. So it's already kind of got the box with the view. Leave the labels as is, but just something to do with the rest of this. We'll see. Done. All right, let's give it a try. Update. Any errors? No errors? Oh. It did look like some substantial changes. I mean, that's... It's pretty cool looking. Oh man, oh, that's pretty good. It took like 30 seconds. Wow. Like, it's not perfect, but we're there. Coloring is really the only thing I think I'm even going to change on this. Division color. Container, so it's linear gradient. Top left, bottom right. So let's throw up, we still have this block, which is important. To me, I do want to keep that. Deep style presets. And let's go shot chip, shot execution, grade color, static bar, deep grade container gradient colors. And we're kind of going everything darkish here, it seems. Vivid. Purple. Mid. Theme. Color stuff. Vivid. Purple. Dark. And vivid purple. Ultra dark, maybe? No, not a period. Deep grade container gradient colors. Deep stats. Colors. Dot deep grade container gradient colors. Okay. So we're going to try to make this purple, and then what do I want to do about this guy? I don't like the yellow. The yellows aren't it for me. Could just go with like the gray. Like a light gray. I really don't know. Let's try it for now. Theme colors, top graphite. We'll go lightest. Border, let's go theme. Let's just go colors black for now. Black with the 2. Let's bump that up to 3. Rounded is fine. And then here, let's also just try colors black for now. All right, so we got yellow guy right now. Let's do a reset, and then we'll see where we're at. Yeah, it really should be the same thickness as what this is producing. Not C1x gauge, division badge. Border is 6 there. So this is going to be the same. Border of this to be thicker. And more rounded would be good, just to match what we're going for here. What is it on this one? It is 20. All right, I guess right. Nice. Yeah. Does this get dicey if I have longer words though? Do I have longer words than average? Sprinkler, consistent. I do think I want the purples to be changed slightly. Like if I do like a light here, try to make the gradient a little bit more drastic. And then what to do about this box. I do want it to have some little bit of color to it. I could make it the same color as, I don't think I want to do that. Deep round grade graphic. What color do I want this? The background is always going to be purple. I don't necessarily want to do the black with the light text just because that's kind of already what this is, and I want the wave to stand out. What to do? This is also, I do need to update all of this stuff. So we'll get to that. But stuck on the appearance thing right now. Style presets. Maybe I just need to look at some of the colors here for inspiration. I intend to throw it up here. So the text is already white. I don't think I want white. I don't want a purple. I do feel like I want some slightly neutral color. I'm not gonna like, man, I don't know. We could try just the lightest graphite color and see if that is substantially better. I don't know that it's actually going to be. Oh, that's already what I was on. Lightest. Let's just do a reset. So updated this color and the gradient. I do like the gradient better now. Could maybe even go a deep style presets. Like this could be a vivid purple. This could be the mid. Let's do another reset there. No, that made it worse. Okay. We'll stick with this for the moment. Let's do another reset again. That's too bright, now it's hard to tell. To start. I do want these guys to literally just be red and green. River pot, what the heck? Okay, sure. Retro button. Where do we do retro button? I want to make sure I'm not putting an opacity on it. Color, shadow, box shadow. Okay. The shadow does look a little goofy. What if I drop this? Go away, come on. No shadow. Yeah. It does feel like a start. Definitely a step in the right direction. Getting division grades. This one. This one will be a little bit tricky. And I guess we can start with how I did it here. Division grade is getting passed to it. Okay. Round display. Division grade. Get division grade, and where's this at? C1x round grading. Okay. That would make sense. Get division grade. Should I have the same thing here? Probably. That would make a lot of sense. Oh, I did go to the wrong one here. Not deep round grading, round grading. Let's grab this. Let's throw this in here. And we'll call it get deep division grade. If user settings dot female protected divisions enabled. Now, do I want to use the same scale? I don't know if I, other than coming up with some arbitrary reason, I don't know if I have a good one too. Get color for grade. And we'll use that too, and we'll say get color for deep grade. What don't we like here? Undefined class color. Do I not have a material? Is that what I'm missing? Yeah, there we go. Get color for deep grade. All right, and then on this graphic, can I I'm still just calling division badge, right? C1x gauge. Like, do I need my own division badge here? I kind of think I do. We will, just so I can use. No, we did already have color for grade. That's producing the gradient. Okay, we don't need that. Deep round grade graphic. Let's drop this. Let's go throw this down here. No, don't refactor. Deep division badge. Don't explain. Get deep. Can I get a suggestion here? Good Lord, come on. Yeah, I know it doesn't exist. That's why I'm trying to get you to suggest it for me. Please just give me a... Yeah, it's the worst. It's the worst. Deep round grade importing a deep brown? I am importing a deep brown grade. What are we talking about then? What is... Get deep color. Okay, what did I call it then? Get color for deep grade. All right. Whatever. Alright, so that's going to be our get color. And then we still have the error up here, which I assume is the division. Deep division badge, round grade. Alright, we need to get rid of get division grade. And then where do I call that at? Right here. Deep division grade. Okay. So that gets me an MA1 minus. Okay. Seems right. So that's all updated. The only other thing I think I might change right now is just the gradient on the wave. Maybe we could make it just match the let's say right now I comment this out, and then where that error pops up, instead of this we go get color for deep grade. 2 positional arguments, and what is it? Double and list of colors. That was here. Gradient colors. That is not what I wanted. Did I not create a new one of those? Retro knob, retro dial, dialbox painter, retro button, my way painter. Division badge. Where do I get the color here? Get color for deep grade. No, because that is the same thing. Okay, so we're just going to give it that gradient then. That's fine. Okay. Comma, that. So that should make it the same color as this. Which, yeah, I don't hate. A little bit of consistency is all right. Just to do a quick little test here. Where do I calculate the round grade? Is this unused? It is. Drop it. Get deep division grade, round grade. So at this point I have round grade calculated. Late double round grade limit state. And we're just going to try a couple overrides here. Am I going to have to do a reset? Because it's not being initialized. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's do 1.0. I'm okay with 0 looking really chaotic. It'd be nice if like 1.0 still, you know, kind of stayed within the bounds. That's fine. I think for that text going to lower the size just a little bit, but let's go. Let's do 4. We're just testing a few values here. Make sure I like the way the lines work and look. Let's go, we kind of already testing 6, let's go 8, and then we'll test 10. All right, 10. Yeah, the container's getting a little too big, and this is on a wider phone screen, so that does need to be smaller. Yeah, I mean, this looks good. Okay, so let's drop this, and then go down to that text, painter, container, text, get create label. It's 30 too small. No, I don't think so. I really don't need quite that much padding. Let's go 10. Yeah, just make everything fit a little bit nicer. Vertical, I think I want even less too. 4. Yeah. I like it. Okay, deep grade is done. Oh, and I am so sorry. My screen capture froze, and it looks like it was a little while ago. Not bad. This is where we're at right now. Deep brown grades of 0 and 1. We're going just way off. Not way off, but into the gray border at least. Pretty hectic. We can demonstrate that again here. So this is what 10 looked like, and then we'll go show what 0 looks like real quick. There's 0. Kind of fun. But yeah, and then we can get rid of that and go back to what it actually is. So that is going to wrap it up for the deep brown grade, which is exciting. Another graphic down. Crossed off. Shoot. All right. Now, before we jump into the last 2 graphics that I've just added, we're going to jump into my extra changes. We're going to jump around a little bit here. First things first, on release angle, I wanted to make sure that the progress bar graphic matched the others. And this might have been a note from before I even changed the progress bar. But let's, on miss breakdown, radio button, or no, rotate left is my released angle. Let's go to the progress bar. Am I ever even showing that angle? Oh, this one is the one I'm talking about. Yeah, that makes sense. I want to make this one match the release angle elsewhere, which was a minor note, but a good one. A good one to have. And we're on all logging progress here. Yeah. Where do we break down the icons? Angle. Done. All right. And then had a note on, we're going to go new chat here. Icons that represent a shoe. The Flutter native icon list is massive, and I have tried to go through it all before. Does shoe actually exist? Shoe is not defined. Icons, shoe is not native. Is there an import I'm missing? Well, come on now. Font awesome Flutter. I'm trying to convey bad footing on uneven terrain. What does balance look like? I don't think hiking is quite gonna help me here. Landscape or terrain. Landscape. I could see at some point actually pulling in new icons, but what about something that is slick? AC unit. Water drop. Kind of like that one actually. It's not great, and maybe I will eventually pull in some custom icons, but all right. On this bar, what other word could I use for normal? I have a label I'm updating based on how good the footing is. Currently I have normal and bad footing. I want a different word to use instead of normal. Maybe it's stable. I use stable too much. Because I can't really make it any longer than bad footing, and I may run into issues with that already anyways. Maybe I could make it say run up. That is a thought. Man, where am I even calling that from? All deblogging graphics. Where's my row? Grade. This is not what I think it is it? No, it is. Okay. Deep stats entry, deep stats toggle. If value equals footing, footing equals this. All stats management, deep stat toggles. All right, where is normal at? That's just what I'm returning. Okay. Could call it like run up. Normal footing. I mean, that technically makes sense. Is that, should there actually be a hyphen there? Do I like the hyphen or should it be different? I think I want to get rid of the hyphen. One extra space in between them. Okay, I think that's at least a little bit more clear. Oh. Alright, button pan and sizing presses for fewer than 6. Once release angle is selected. I did improve that. Yeah, this was a separate change I'd made previously, but we are good. Fewer than 6 flight path options. Yeah. I already fixed that when I was updating this shot logging view anyways. Because I think the issue is that when I selected a release angle and there were fewer, the buttons were still small and so the spacing looked weird, but I already made them longer. So ensure disk on put logger can be dragged above the basket. I do think I did that. Yeah, that's good enough. I don't think it needs to go higher than that. This is already high. So good there. To pass newly corrected X and Y values, we did do that. I did that as a part of updating I updated the X and Y values on this a couple of times to make sure that they were being passed correctly. And we know they are because when I went back to look at this view, if they weren't being passed correctly, this would not have looked the way that it was supposed to. But this was actually the one I was testing it on. I think I covered this in a video, but I dragged disk to be at 0, 0, which is roughly where that dot is, and then I wanted to put one in the bottom left, one in the top right, and make sure that they were actually showing that correctly so that the scale on the image was correct. The X and Y values were showing the right thing. Anywho, they all are. So this was great. Three down and skipped 3 holes. MPO grade, but making a note to make sure that my deep brown grade account for skipped holes and doesn't really punish the user for them. All right, something else unique in the navigation bar. And on the deep stats round display page, yeah. So what? I'm trying to think of what I could throw up here. What could I put up there? Like I could, I guess, include like course name. and score. Maybe that would make sense. Let's go to the round display view. Ooh, where are we at? Round display. All right, and then up here in the navigation bar, we got back button. We got if current display page equals 0. And then we're going to do an else. And then here we're going to throw in, yeah, exactly that. Round names, header text color, perfect. And then here we're showing edit buttons. Maybe I'll just show the name. Let's just do an update there. So we got testing distance, and that's going to say testing distance. I do wish it was centered a bit better. But maybe it's just that size box. I think, I guess, what if I throw this here, does that, it's just further away, okay. Then we've got a spacer, and I've got my if statement here to hide the buttons, share outlined, else const sized box width 20. How wide are these icons? 25. 50 seems excessive, but no, that was pretty much perfect. All right. And I should be able to just hard code that width at 50 because I'm hard coding the icon sizes. So I think that's good for now, because eventually I'll want to add a share button or something up here too. So now it's not at least a naked navigation bar. All right, reordering the deep stat graphics. This is a good one. Where's my organization? Right here. Okay, so what we're going to do now is reorder these graphics, which means I got to decide what order I want them in. So I think I do want deep grade at the top. So we're going to start with that. It also probably would be somewhat prudent to finish the other two graphics before I reorder them, just in case that changes things, but we'll say we're okay. Deep grade here. Then let's go round timeline. And then we're going to go practice ROI, just because I think this one has the potential to probably be the most useful to users. So I want it to be near the top. And then maybe we continue with the shot types, release angles, flight paths. Misdistribution is also a really good one. There are definitely graphics that I think it's like the internal balance for me of I think this looks cool and I have the data, so I might as well display it, versus like the goal of the app is to help users improve, so I need to make sure that I am probably prioritizing that a little bit more. We'll go misses. Shot assessment I don't even have up there yet. That is, maybe that should go above misses. Quality misses. All right, so right now we got deep grade. I don't even think I'm really using this order, but I will move stuff around anyways. So we went deep stats, round timeline, practice. Deep stats, round timeline, practice ROI, return on investment. what ROI stands for those that may not have known. And then shot quality and misses. Quality, misses. And then I'm thinking that we then finish with shot types, release angle, flight path, and momentum at the end. Let's do an update, make sure that that is carrying over. Should be, but timeline, practice ROI, shot assessment. I do need to update the padding on that then. And then deep grade needs to remove it. All right, so deep round grade. What did I have it previously at for shot type? It was top 0, so this will become 30. Update, so that now there is a space above it here. And then deep grade needs to be 0. So that's a little more snug. You know what probably makes a lot more sense is to get rid of this title and just put like deep stats up here. I think it does. It's kind of annoying, but probably necessary. All right, else, fine. Children. And I want an icon. That is not what I wanted. Comma, text. Oh, not a key. Deep stats. What size is my text up here? 15. 15. Overflow. Text overflow ellipsis. Max lines 1, comma. Color will be black. This will get a const. Share outline. And I don't want share outline there. What I want is container. Let's just search for icon here. Insights around it, I think. It's going to be what I want there. Size 25. And I do have an error, just the comma. Yeah. All right, so does that give me deep stats up here? It does. Width 5. Oh, and then I kept the width 50 in there, which we don't want. Let's bump that over. Maybe we just make it say deep. It's pretty good. And then I'm hard coding everything here. So this like, can I do like a little sized box 5 here? Does that bump this over slightly? Slightly. 10. quite there. 15. It probably doesn't quite looking the way that I want it to on a smaller phone. I do also need to accept that I'm not going to finish this today. Just because one thing that I haven't done at all is test all of this stuff on smaller phones, which is probably going to be a little bit of an endeavor. I can't do that over the holidays, though. That's fairly easy. I can do that on a plane. I don't need AI for that. Okay, and then the point of that was to remove the title down here. Deep stats, where do I say it? It's right here. So the point of this would be to comment out the stack. Get rid of that. Just to show more of it to users right off the bat, you know. Deep round grade graphic, and then because we did that, let's add just a little bit of padding above it. Okay. And we reordered them, so that's good. All right, I'm gonna have to sign off here soon. There's a couple things that I do still need to do that I haven't gotten to yet, so I may actually end up doing another video today. We do have time. Because man, we are close. I want to update these toggles. I just want them to be on and off right now. I want to get rid of the view only option, and then I need to update how the rest of the app reads that, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. I had that thought, but does that actually make sense? Should I just leave view only on? Because the thought process was that people score some rounds. Let's say they only want to do deep stats for tournament rounds. So they have it on for tournament rounds. But then when they're playing a casual round, they want to keep basic stats. They don't want deep stats on, so they can just turn it on to view only. And that way, if they go look at a tournament round, they can still see their deep stats, but they're not required to log any deep stats during a casual round. That was the thought process. So I think I'm actually going to change that task. I do think I want the view only option. Deep stats toggles and settings should be working throughout the app for off, on, and view only. Sure, graphics are showing when they should. Same for logging. All right, so that's not something I'm going to get to in this video, but that is the route I'm going to go. So I need to make sure that whatever these are selected as is actually being utilized throughout the app. One thing we can do real quick on all of my new graphics, let's make sure that the fonts are actually black. Not make sure. Right now they're not all black. Like this is black, this is black, this is not. Yeah. So we are gonna go just down one by one, I think. Property. Starting with the deep stats grade, which that one is good. Next is around timeline. Deep hole breakdown graphics. All right, let's just copy color black. Let's go to alt text. Can run through this again. Round timeline is good. Whole. Here. Text here, that color is already black. Whole numbers are already black. Yeah. So I did do that. Par should be black. Text, round data, individual whole par label. So that's the values inside of the circular containers. Trying to make sure I'm not changing a fonts here that I didn't actually mean to change. Icon legend item we will get to, which is here. Text label, that needs to be black. Build context, that's already black. Context, context. Distance. That was what I'm showing there. Why is that one black and that one's not? You know what I mean? Like maybe it's the color. But it looks like black on some and not black on the others. That must just be my eyes playing a trick on me. Because I already have colors black specified for those. Have it for that too. Have it for this one. And that's it. Alright, so let's do an update. Yeah, okay, so that should be good. And then we'll make sure that these get updated to black once they're there. Shot assessment is already good. Misdistribution is not quite there. Misbreakdown graphic. Context, context, misdistribution. That one is good. Throwing and putting are not good. Colors black. Key, that one is there. Oh, so those were already, yeah, okay. Okay, putting is not. I'll just go through all of them, make sure here, those are already black, those are already black, and that's it, okay. So now these should be good. Yeah, shot types is fine. Release angles, not quite. Release angles graphic. That is black. Arc text, no. Text here, fairway hit, this is going in the center. So that is that. I do need to make sure the icons here actually are. That's a column. And then miss graphics, so I need to make sure the miss graphics get updated as well. Angle here needs it. Let's just go through here and make sure that we've got this and this. So release angles down here now will be black. And then those already look black. So I think the only other thing I need to update is the miss graphic. Miss graphic, and I need to make sure that those icons are return row, icon size, color. Make these guys actually black. There we go. Okay, perfect. So now we're done with release angles. Let's go to flight paths. And let's go back to text. Text cell. That's already good. So I think that is these guys. Text color is getting passed. I guess I'll get to that at some point. Those should be good. Build text flight paths. Container child. Oh, this is not. Yeah, this is the blank one. Okay, that's fine. Text here. Said I already made those black. They don't quite look black, but maybe they're. Maybe they are. Text cell, text color, or black. Okay. Graphic max label. Deep stack colors. Let's go check. I'm sure I already made that black, but yeah. Okay, well, I think the flight path is already good then. I think everything is already black. And the last thing is round momentum. Okay. Man, I'm still just not convinced though. I went through all of it, I guess. Make it. That's what it had to have been. Columns. That's the color, and the text is black. So like if I make this red, then I get red text, right? Yeah. So black is what they are. And those do all look like they match. Table row. Text path, that is black too. Okay. All right. Overthinking this a bit. All font text is black now. All right, so we're going to call it there. Lots of random changes throughout the app. This looks great. I'm excited about this. So things left are going to be getting all of these toggles actually implemented throughout the app, which shouldn't take too long, but needs to get done. So I will do that. I want to add a generic response. Well, no, actually, I have a note here, deep stats page should have a generic response if enabled, but not present for the round. Is that how I'm doing that currently? Round display, infographic. Where do I set the page view here? Page view, physics, deep stats enabled. So if it's enabled, okay. So if it's enabled, you can scroll. So if this is turned on, but there are no deep stats for a round, then I want to just get rid of the infographic and display a random, not random, just display a comment here that says like deep stats not kept for this round, which would replace all of this if they don't exist. So we'll get that in. I want to make deep stats create account for the for skipped holes, which we will get to just because on this one it was users 3 for 3, skip the last 3 holes. Gets it a good round grade here because that one does account for it. This one doesn't, so we'll update that. And then on the deep stats for the settings here, I just wanted to add a little button at the top for like maybe right in between these that just says toggle all. Screen capture froze again. Jeez. I don't know why it's doing that. All right. Hopefully it wasn't frozen for long again. We made all the fonts black. And then what I said, I wanted to get a generic message on this page if deep stats is on but wasn't kept for the round. Getting these toggles implemented throughout, adding a little thing here that says toggle all, just so I can immediately turn all these to all, view only or off. And then once I'm done with that, then it's on to the last 2 graphics, which again are going to be our practice ROI graphic here. We're going to update, and then the, which it does. Like it does look eerily similar to this one. Maybe there's a little too much overlap there. We'll see. Maybe I'll end up calling an audible there. Getting that graphic updated, getting this graphic updated, which is going to be intended to show like the momentum of the round over time. Out of curiosity, it's kind of negative, positive at the end, and then ends neutral. Is that negative, positive? Yeah. Working decently so far. So to get those two graphics updated, and then that largely does conclude my list. At that point, it's down to the stuff I haven't even written down yet, which is the big one is just going to be testing it on smaller phone screens, going through all of these views and making sure that it looks okay. So yeah, we'll call it there for this video. We're close. Maybe one more video today. Maybe I'll be back later. We'll see. If not, this is probably my last video before the holidays then. So if I don't do another one, then happy holidays. Anybody who finds this after the fact, as always, if there's something you want to see in C1x, let me know down below. If you want to be a part of the testing group, I might send this out to the newsletter for testing, a little early access. So if you want to do that, you can go on the C1x website, which is going to be in the comments, or not in the comments, in the video description. It's in the video description for all of these. You can sign up for the newsletter there. I will probably start to tease some visuals from this update, at least on the newsletter very soon, which if you're watching the video, you're seeing it. But I know I have far more newsletter subscribers than views on these videos, so we'll send some graphics out so people can see it. And yeah, the capture froze again. Silly. Anywho, sorry for all the freezes as well, but we'll shut up. Thanks again to anybody who finds this after the fact. Don't be afraid to reach out, and maybe we'll see you in the next one.